As soon as I finish telling you that after your 2 minutes, I will raise my hand to say time, and whenever you start speaking, your time will start. Okay. All right.
Alrighty. Well, first off, I want to thank everyone for showing up to the elections. It's a very important part before the next school year. And next, I want to thank the e-board that was the e-board this year because they've done a fantastic job with the all online format. And I feel like we've been able to reach out to more people who usually have schedule issues. And I feel like they've done a very great job with that. So thank you, e-board. And I'd like to start out with just kind of a background about myself. Um, when I first heard about SHEP, I kind of was, hesitant because I didn't want to be one of those people who like they just jumped in an org and then they were kind of in the shadows. And eventually, I came out of the shadows because I was in the shadows for about my first semester, so I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I can contribute, but after about the first semester, I did come out of the shadows a little bit. I started going to more events. I started going to Lone Star Showdown was one of the biggest one that I had fun with. And I just want to emphasize that this is a great organization. This is a great opportunity to develop professionally. And I feel like I have developed in that aspect. And I've been in the career fair community this past year, and I've helped with putting on their programs and helping out future engineers get full-time jobs. And that was an invaluable experience. I got to network with a couple of different people, a couple of different organizations, and I just got a good feel of what it is to be, SHEP leadership. And I do think that I would be a good fit for the treasurer position because I myself, I do want to help with anybody and everybody with their financial situation because I know there is money out there and I know that we can get it. And I feel like I'm a good person who can help reach that money. I can help get more sponsors. And overall, that's kind of my plan. If I am to be selected as treasurer, I would kind of want to go in and I want to expand my reach. I want to expand SHEP's reach to be able to get more sponsors.
All right. That's time. Cindy or Andres, whoever's ready can go first.
Andres, I always go first. You go.
Cool. Awesome, Douglas. Thank you for the speech. My question is, given SHEP's 5 pillars, which one would you prioritize first? And then which one would you prioritize last for funding?
That's an interesting question. I think to kind of like not answer your question, but answer it. I don't think you could prioritize one or the other. They should all be held up equally. But if I had to answer, I feel like leadership definitely has to be, kind of up there because we all need to be leaders. We all need to be leading the charge. And I feel like that is one of the biggest parts of being in SHEP. You kind of want to be a leader so that you can help others so that they can reach a point to where they can help others, and it just passes on and on and on. And I feel like, I guess if I had to choose one, I feel like, yeah, I really can't choose one that's less important. I'm sorry.
All right.
My turn? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good job, Douglas. Really good speech. Definitely gave us some insight as to what your goals are, but I am very curious to know, you did mention that you would focus on getting more funding and more sponsorships. How exactly are you planning on doing that? Do you have any new initiatives that you've been thinking about?
So to answer that question, I do want to say that I have an idea of what I can do, and I feel like it is a good way to step into this process. And honestly, there is money out there, and you just need to start looking for scholarships. There are already scholarship databases out there, so the more you look into them, the more you find. So I feel like that alone can help widen that range and give more people opportunities. But to the extent of looking for more sponsors, I feel like it'll be a good idea to just kind of reach out to different companies, even if a company that we've never talked to, and then we just randomly reach out to them, kind of explaining to them our whole mission and everything. I feel like that would be a good step forward. And even if they didn't want to initially help us, we can kind of follow that up with saying, okay, we do appreciate this, appreciate your time, and eventually we'll get an answer. We'll get a yes. And then that yes, that monetary help can maybe turn into future connections for future engineers. And I feel like ultimately that will help more people get more jobs and just kind of widen the reach that SHEP has.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So last question would be, so one of the big responsibilities of the treasurer is to see your big expenses throughout the year. For example, events like National Convention, as well as RODC. What system will you have on your end to make sure you have a strong budget for your term as a treasurer?
Could you repeat that first part of your question? It was kind
Yeah.
of a little bald.
And one of your responsibilities as a treasurer is to see your big expenses throughout the year. For example, events like National Conference and RODC. What system will you have on your end to make sure you have a strong budget for the whole year?
Okay, I think I understand your question. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of these big events, right? So like you mentioned, we have the national conference. So we want to make sure we have enough money for that. So obviously we want to prioritize what events we're funding. We want to make sure that we're funding them properly, that we have enough money. But then again, we don't want to go over our budget. So I would try to make sure that once we have a budget, we kind of stick to it, and it's better to always be under budget, but never over budget, because then you're scrambling to kind of compensate with other events, and then those events might not be as good, as beneficial to our members. And, you just kind of have one good event and then all these events start lacking in quality, or, for lack of a better word, quality as it goes down, and it's kind of just trickling down. So obviously we want to make every event as great as it can be, but I would make sure that these big events have enough funding. But I would also make sure that I'm coordinating with different e-board members so that we're not overspending and, making expenses that really don't have to be spent.
Right on. Thank you. All right. Well, that concludes the 3 questions. Thank you very much, Douglas. We'll go ahead and